listen-only mode.
Hello guys, and welcome to another in a series of PMQ webinars. Today we are joined with Our Town America. I'm your host, Brian Hernandez. I'm joined in studio as always by my faithful companion, Dr. Daniel Lee Perea. Why don't you go ahead and show your shiny face to those folks? There he is. He's going to be taking your questions throughout the event. You can use that in your little toolbar there. We will have a Q&A section at the very end, so we'll make sure to get to everybody. Today, we're just really glad to have you guys with us. Today, we have sales and marketing experts Stephen Scroy and Brittany Johnson of Our Town America, the nation's premier new mover direct mail marketing franchise. And today, we're going to discuss the strategies on how to lock out your local competitors and gain loyal customers every month, how to capture new customers and attention before your competitors even have a chance, and what the important components of a successful direct mail campaign actually are. So as an attendee, you can ask the questions. As I said, you can ask me, Stephen, or Brittany anytime you want, and we'll actually get to the Q&A section at the very end. So we'll make sure to get to everybody's questions. But aside from that, let's get started. Stephen, Brittany, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Why don't you guys just kind of start out just telling us a little bit about Our Town America?
Sure, absolutely. Our Town America has been in business now for over 44 years, and we are a premier new mover welcoming organization, as you had alluded to. Thanks again for the introduction, Brian. Of course, today we're going to talk a little bit about what we can do and what new mover marketing is all about for our pizzerias. And I've got Brittany Johnson here with me, and hopefully you can see our screen now. So like I said, we're going to talk about turning new movers into loyal customers today. And let's go ahead and move us to the next slide here. A couple of things just to get started here. Obviously, pizza is always top of mind for new families moving in. It's one of the first things they're looking at. We'll talk a little bit about that in accordance to some of our survey results here over the years. But there are 74,812 pizza restaurants throughout the U.S., and pizzerias actually do represent 17% of all of U.S. restaurants. So it really is becoming America's food. The average American actually eats 46 slices of pizza every year. I find that hard to believe. I actually would think it'd be much more than I eat 46 slices in a sitting. So over 1 billion pizzas are said to be delivered to the average customer or average customers in general throughout the course of a year, and it seems like every Super Bowl we're hearing about these records being smashed. So pizza, always at the forefront, and let's really get into what the new mover market is all about and what it means to our pizzerias on the call today. So 18% of the population does move every year, and we're going to talk about what this means to pizzerias and what you can do to capture this market. 95% of our new movers would actually visit a business that welcomed them to their new area. So that means a couple of different things. Obviously they've got some disposable income. They're just moving, so they're looking for affordable things at the same time. As they're filling that house with furniture and getting the lawn straightened out and unpacking those boxes and everything else that's obviously on their agenda. So the good thing about new movers is there is actually no wasted coverage, or for the most part no wasted coverage, as it's a new set of new movers every single month. So it's always really a new list of folks that you'd be reaching. New movers actually spend more in the 3 months surrounding their move than existing residents or non-new movers spend in 5 years. So like I said, they've got the income now. They're obviously doing repairs in the home, getting things straightened out, unpacking those boxes, but at the same time looking to do business with some new local vendors. So it's a perfect opportunity to really seek out these new families, make sure they know about you guys, your pizzeria, and become your regular customer. So they're open to those suggestions. Obviously life-changing events for them, so they're going to appreciate a free gift, something of goodwill from you guys. And they haven't really figured out the community yet. There's no real established driving patterns, purchasing patterns, or anything like that among these new families. So they're figuring things out, and you want to make sure that they know about you guys early and become your customer now often. So I'm going to hand things over to Brittany real quick, who's going to talk a little bit about the survey that I alluded to.
All right, so we recently commissioned a survey. We, as in Our Town America, we asked everybody how many times they've moved in their life. 46% say that they've actually moved more than 6 times in their life. So as Stephen was saying, people are constantly moving. Even when the economy was down, moving numbers were a little bit lower, but people were downsizing. So they might be moving to an apartment. They might be moving across town to a cheaper place, but people are constantly moving. That's something that's never going to change. This is an extension of our survey that we took. As you can see in the infographic on the right, there's a lot of issues that come along with moving, a lot of stress. It's a traumatic experience for people in general. We reported that there's more arguments, less intimacy. People have issues with, they go into debt, they're stressed out, they don't want to ask their friends for help, they don't know who to ask for help. And number 5 goes into talking about how there's unfriendly neighbors. And so that kind of gets into, if you're not friends with your neighbors, or you don't know your neighbors yet, you don't want to ask your friends for help. Who's going to step in? Who's going to welcome them to the neighborhood? Other than the businesses that are stationary in that area, that's the best type of people to welcome people to the area. So we love that about our program in particular. Is it's kind of a helping hand there. We actually asked people, what is the most important thing? What are the top important things to feeling most comfortable in your neighborhood and feeling settled? And the number 4 thing on the list was finding their new go-to pizza place. So it was right up there with unpacking, learning how to get around, and meeting new neighbors. So people rank that pretty high up there. They love their pizza.
And although she had, I'm going to piggyback off of one thing she said there, that number 3 on the list, meeting new neighbors. I'm not sure how quickly that number is falling down the list. It seems like no one's greeting their neighbors anymore. Folks are falling into social media and becoming less and less face-to-face interactive. So this is a perfect opportunity, really, with a new mover program or a gift to reach these families and give that first impression, really, as part of the community. So let's talk about replacing the customers that have been lost now as a result of those moves. So as we had alluded to, 18% of the population does move every year. And what this actually means is each pizzeria, you could be losing 18% of your customer base at no fault of your own. So first impressions are definitely key in replacing these families. And you want to foster that loyalty with them right from the get-go. The neighborhood welcome, in this time of need is going to go a long way for you. It's going to show these folks that you do care, that you are part of the community, and you are there for them. You're going to engage them on their move and really make them feel welcome. But ultimately, it's going to position your business as being friendly and reputable. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already involved in the community. You're probably sponsoring your team, your son's little league team, things like that. So it's another good way of really generating that goodwill in the community and making everyone feel good about your business. So you introduce your business to new movers, and you want to make sure you're doing it before they discover your competitors. And that's one thing that new mover marketing is going to do for you, actually. It's going to arrive at the perfect time. So you want to make sure that these families become your customers as opposed to the customer of Joe's Pizza down the block, for instance. As I had kind of mentioned, it provides you with an opportunity for engagement with these folks. One thing about the new movers is, whether it's a solo postcard mailing, a certificate, or a program itself, you're going to know something about that audience, that they just went through the traumatic move that they did. So you'll be able to engage them about that move. Make them feel welcome, address them by name, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson or Smith. Where are you guys moving from? You finding everything okay? Have you guys been to the park down the road? Really make them feel welcome and at home in your restaurant, your pizzeria. So you'll really be able to, like I said, build that rapport with them, discuss the weather with them. Oh no, it's spring, the pollen's out. In Florida anyway, we're down in Florida, so the pollen is. I just got my car washed the other day, and already it's full of pollen. So you'll discuss those things with them, relate with them, and make them feel, welcome there in their new community. Of course, with this, there are many ways to target for new families and new movers. There's demographic targeting and multiple ways, like I said, of targeting these folks. So you want to avoid wasted coverage, and that's one thing New Movers does for you. You want to deliver or target within your delivery areas and your zones, particularly, more than likely. So you could be doing this by zip code, by neighborhood targeting, by, like I said, delivery areas, radiuses, tons of different ways of going about it. You want to make sure that based on your market and your conditions there, depending on probably how rural it is and how far people are willing to drive, what the best fit is for you guys in your business. Now, in terms of budgeting for that, there's a lot of different ways to do this. You can mail a set dollar amount of new movers, and you can actually set a dollar amount for each location if you have multiple locations. So there's a lot of different ways to kind of roll the program out. You can target and also prioritize these mailings based on zip codes or zones or neighborhoods, just as I mentioned. And you can, and how you do that, everyone wants to reach out to their backyard. So that immediate zip code you're in, you hit that zip code first. That makes sense. If you want to, trickle some of those mailings out to the next zip code over, just because it happens to fit the budget, that's absolutely, reasonable as well. So making sure you're within your budget and within your means is absolutely part of targeting for new movers and a successful campaign. So we definitely want to touch on that as well. Now, one thing we can do, or we recommend that all pizzerias do, is definitely track the results of a program. So there's many ways to go about tracking a program, and the obvious answer here is from point-of-sale systems, POS systems. You could do this by simply denoting something on your solo flyer, your certificate, that enter this code, new mover, for instance, into the point of sale, and there's a tally for the new mover program. You can do barcodes. We ourselves actually use a barcode system in addition to the capabilities of offering point of sale tracking as well. So you're going to want to gather a list of these respondents and do something with them to make sure that you're also retaining their business. So it becomes more of a customer acquisition tool, customer acquisition marketing, in addition to it being actually a new mover program as well. So a loyalty program is a must, whether that be a postcard, which is part of what we offer. It could also be social media. It could be tons of different things. One of the things that you're actually looking at now is a punch card that one of our franchisees actually is utilizing.
What she did is she took the postcard, the second mailer postcard, and made a little pop-out. We do the die-cut postcards, and the new mover goes ahead and brings that in every time and stamps, the business stamps it, and so they're able to track how many times that new mover actually came in following the first visit as a new mover, and so it's a great way to keep up with the loyalty program and keep it running.
Right, so what this sponsor actually did, and Susan, one of our franchisees, did this with one of her pizza sponsors. They actually brought in, redeemed the initial certificate, and now they gave them a punch-out card, basically, essentially is what you're looking at, to track, a loyalty program. So buy 12 pizzas, get one free. But it's got our town on there, our company name, to really help the business owner to keep track of the retention and the multiple visits here with that particular new mover. So it went a long way for them, obviously, in this example, showing that they've been in now 12 times since they received that initial certificate. So that is the power of new mover marketing at its finest. And I just kind of touched on retention a little bit. A second touch, you want to thank the new movers. You don't really necessarily need to offer them anything, but you want to thank them for coming in. So, you send them a gift, welcome to the community, here's a free pizza. Thanks for coming into our business. We really appreciate you giving us a shot. Hopefully we met your expectations. We'd love to have you back as a regular customer. It really goes a long way. So you want to thank them for it. If you give them a second offer, that's perfect. But constantly fostering that loyalty, keeping your business at the forefront of their minds with second touches, postcards, menus, etc. It's very important.
So this is just an example of something we do. Of course, every new mover program has their own look, their own unique look. What we do, and we've been doing since 1972, is providing our sponsors, which we like to call them, our clients, our sponsors, with this new mover gift certificate. So as you can see up here where it says the Robinsons, it's personalized by name, so it doesn't just say residents. Not only is that attractive to the new mover when they bring that in, but that's attractive to the business owner or the staff who is redeeming the certificate, because they can go ahead and say, hey, Mr. Robinson or the Robinson family, thank you for coming in. Welcome to the neighborhood. How long have you guys been in town? All those engagement opportunities that Stephen went over earlier, the weather, etc. Of course, you're gonna put your offer on there. You're going to put your name on there. Anything that you want, it is customizable. And then there is a map on there, like Stephen was saying. They don't really know their way around, so putting those cross sections on there will help them find their way to your business. And of course, utilizing the backside is important. One thing that I want to point out right here is that barcode on the bottom right-hand corner. Of course, every new mover program are hopefully going to have their own way to track the certificate. Ours is by the barcode and with our smartphone application. So that's what that actual barcode is in the right-hand corner, and that is what provides the business with the list of respondents as well. So it's a little important piece there in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yes, now let's talk about the value of a customer, for instance. The Scroy family, for instance, actually visits their local pizzeria maybe twice a month. Every visit I spend about, 20 bucks as a family. So twice a month, we're worth about $40 a month. Over the course of the year, we're worth $480 to my local pizzeria. New mover program, and for instance, our program being all-inclusive, about $1 a household typically, and the average market might account for about 250 new movers on average within, a rough 1 to 2 mile radius. So, given those numbers, 250 new movers, $1 a household, you're spending maybe $250 per month on average on your new mover marketing. Now, with those 250 new movers, let's just say they're generating a response of maybe 20%. In that market per month. So that's 50 new families, the opportunity of 50 new families each and every month. And what that means is if the Scroy household is worth $480, then the Scroy family alone is actually paying for the cost of that program and some. Now you're getting 50 new families every month. You'll be able to retain more than half, or at least half of those families, I'm sure, as regular customers. You got a great sauce. You do great things in your store and your location. So that's the type of power that a new mover program can bring in terms of ROI and the value of a customer for you. Kind of piggybacking off of that, we actually work quite a bit with Marco's Pizza, and hopefully you guys saw them on Undercover Boss just recently. They've been doing pretty well. But we're working with one of their vice presidents of franchise operations. He works with a franchisee of ours, Jack, out in Ohio. He's been working with them for a good 15 years. We love Jack. And, here's a good example for the type of fluctuations that occur with a new mover program. Families are moving during the summer months when the kids are out of school. So you'll see that highlighted here, September, August, June mailings, a little bit higher than your February mailings, your March mailings, your April mailings, for instance. So that fluctuation is very real in new movers. But like we said, there's always ways of fitting the budget, prioritizing zip codes, doing all that. But in this particular case, look at the consistency here. He's getting about a new family every single day. He runs the program. So a consistent 22, 20, up, what was he got here? 19 to 28, 16 to 28% response. And very consistent with his output and response with the program. So, Brittany, we'll go ahead and turn it back over to her real quick.
All right, so this is Mark Ullery. He is the VP of Marketing at Flyers Pizza and Subs. Some of you may know who he is. This is a testimonial from him. Of course, this is specific to our program, but he is a fan of new mover marketing, and here's a little bit of an explanation on why.
Hi, my name is Mark Ullery, VP of Marketing at Flyers Pizza and Subs in Central Ohio. We are part of Pizza Today magazine's top 100 independent pizzerias in America, and our most important advertising that we do is the Our Town New Mover program. The Our Town gift certificate that gets mailed out to new residents allows us to get in front of potential clients immediately upon their arrival into their home. Studies suggest that 10 to 15% of our existing customers move yearly, so it is vital that we replace them. The Our Town program fills the void. It's working for you on a monthly basis, it's cost effective, and there's never a worry that we may not reach a very important segment of our market, the new mover.
So that's Mark. We love Mark. We love what he has to say. And, of course, we agree with everything he has to say. It's true. It does help you reach out to the people that are moving out, replace the people that have moved out of the town. So it's a great program. Of course, all other marketing is great. Advertising is great. And this can be supplemental. We're not knocking the other kind of advertising, but this is supplemental. It's a great way to reach out.
Yes, and some more key elements In direct mail and succeeding with direct mail and new mover programs also, you want to be able to stand out in the mailbox, something that, is large postcard, oversized envelopes, whatever the case may be. Personalization, of course, to the new mover by name is very important. You want to make sure that it's not going out to a current occupant or resident or anything like that. You want to make sure that, there is exclusivity for you, and that's one thing that we do is make sure that, our pizza sponsors are the only pizza sponsor provided in our welcome package so that there's no competition in there, and that's really important. That's an important element of the program. So you also want to make sure those targeting options are available to you. As I had mentioned, delivery, carrier routes, zones, neighborhoods, however you guys handle things, you want to make sure that these folks can accommodate you. Make them an offer they can't refuse. For new movers, free is always going to work best. It's our proven offer. It is a niche audience, so it's a small number of people. It's not like your saturation mailings where you're mailing, the whole community, 50,000, people, for instance. This is just 200 people. You want to get as many of them through your doors as humanly possible. So free is going to do that. You've got the product. You stand behind it. You get them in the door. They'll be back. You do a great job. They'll definitely be back, and they'll become your regular customer. And you're going to find that through tracking, through a trackable program. Again, point of sale, barcode. Use all your efforts there. Compose your list. Compile your lists. Make sure that you're also following up and retaining these folks through other efforts as well. Through, as Brittany had mentioned, supplementing your new mover program with personalized postcards, birthday postcards. It's another great loyalty tool for you. Is to find out when your customers have a birthday, shoot them a free pizza, get them back in. EDDM mailings, saturate the community, and couple these efforts with your new mover marketing. Absolutely.
So does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask?
See if we have any so far.
All right, Daniel, why don't you come up with one of the questions from our audience here?
Yeah, we've got a few here. Question number one is, how do you find new movers?
All right, great question. We actually use, ourselves, we use 9 to 11 sources. Deed transactions, credit bureaus, utility connections, things like that. Whenever that change of address is actually placed, we find that name. And the good thing about being in business ourselves for over 40 years, we actually retain all that information. We have a database of over 400 million names. We bounce our lists off of those databases to ensure that we're mailing that name, that household, one time only, and it goes a long way. Great question.
We've got another user that asks a question, is there one single best way to keep new customers that have moved to your area?
Single best way to keep new movers that move to the area, through, obviously a great product, I think. You guys are doing a great job there, making sure your store, your location has an awesome, friendly environment, those engagement opportunities we talked about, loyalty marketing, making sure that they're coming back, through your loyalty programs. All that retention effort that we kind of touched on a bit.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Great question.
I've got one here. Somebody asked, how important is it to actually grab new movers right away? Or will they come back or eventually find your place? Do you got to get them right out of the gate or wait till they come find you?
Well, one thing that we like to stress is the importance of, kind of grabbing them right away, not only to reach them before your competitors reach them, but as we were saying, to kind of develop a rapport. Personally, I'm going to speak on behalf of our program. The outside of our program literally says housewarming gifts from your neighborhood. So people look at it as not just an advertising or a marketing piece, but sort of a welcoming package from the community. So people view that as a nice gesture. So that's another reason that some of our sponsors love to be in the package, because they do want to reach out in a traumatic time of need to the new movers, and knowing that people appreciate it. So I would say that's an upper hand that we give to everybody as well. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Mr. Cox.
Yes. Got a question here. How can we get the list of names of people who have received the package? Yes, absolutely. You want to work with a company that's going to be able to, provide you with those names of the families that they're reaching, and Our Town America actually does that. So, yes, great question. And you can use those lists for a multitude of different things. Those other mailings, postcard mailings. You can actually determine based on your tracking, who didn't respond to the initial gift, and then shoot that secondary list out to those non-respondents and say, hey, maybe you missed it the first go around. We offered you a great offer of free pizza. Come out and try us. I'm not sure what's holding you guys back, but we'd love to have you as a customer here at our pizzeria. So great question.
All right.
We got another question. Does delivery pizza hold an advantage, especially early on, over other types of restaurants? Like, say, a pizza that can be delivered might have an advantage over a steakhouse in that in your new home you're not really settled in, you're more likely to get something delivered than go out?
Nice.
Well, pizza is definitely the most top of mind, high consumable food, product, et cetera, that's going on with the new mover audience, or I think with people in general. So, yeah, absolutely. That being said, I wouldn't stray against a pizzeria, offering the gift as a pickup only, because you want to get them into the location, I think. It might be part of the driving pattern. You want them to stop in, grab that pizza. You don't want to pay your driver to go out and deliver a free pizza, in other words. So that being said, you're going to generate a great response with pizzerias, whether it's delivery, pickup, carry out, however it's being handled. But yes, generally speaking, it does do better than a steakhouse or a family restaurant, for instance. Great question.
Is there any way to sort of tell in a given town, is there some method of determining the rate at which people move out of your town compared to maybe the rate that they move in? Do you know of some resource like that?
I would think that maybe City Data or Melissa Data, a company like that, would be able to provide that information. We generally look at census numbers and kind of weigh it against some of our algorithms that we've created here with our system and our lists that we provide our sources to kind of determine if there's growth in an area or if there are moves in general. But whether they're moving out, I'm not so sure. I would hope for the sake of your pizzeria, you're able to get some new customers, and that you're able to grow with the community in some respect. So I mean, obviously there's some towns like that where it is kind of the attrition is nationally fading out of the town, but ultimately we don't really do anything with that. But great question.
Well, I kind of have a follow-up question on that. Is it how often should you send out new mover mailers? When you're saying they're coming in every month, I mean, should it be biweekly, every 2 months? Should you be actually doing it every month?
Great question. I would say you should do it very consistently. It's as soon as you're able to have a list provider or a company set this up for you, whatever their means are and whatever their system is. I would definitely adhere to their suggestions and their consulting in that. But for instance, our town, we do it on a monthly basis, and the good thing is you do want to be consistent with it because it is always a new set of new movers every month. So there's no fault in doing it 1 month and then doing it the next month. It makes complete sense if they're using those filters that we discussed in the listing process to make sure that they're not reaching that name and that household again. So no reason not to.
Right.
Great question.
And then it actually kind of brings up the next question here is that you recommend multiple discounts for retention, such as like reaching out to the second house again. How often do you suggest reaching out for an existing new mover? How often do you have to do that? Do you want to hit them every couple weeks or every month?
Great question again. Yes, obviously it depends on that pizzeria and what type of marketing avenues and channels they're using. If they're gathering their information as far as email and social media as well, you can obviously kind of use multiple channels to reach these folks. So it can be weekly, monthly. I mean, Brittany, do you have anything to add?
No, I agree with you. It can be whatever. We want to tailor it to their needs.
Yep, and I don't think you want to bombard somebody, so daily is probably out of the question. But yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is like as professionals, what do you recommend is a good amount of time to reach out to these people again for this?
Well, I think on a direct mail aspect, once a month is probably fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then using those other channels, if you have emails, if you have social media, I mean, you can be a little more aggressive in those arenas, I'd say. But still, then it's at least weekly, bi-weekly, I think at most.
All right. Do you have any more, Dan?
Is there a different strategy for say a college town, for example, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or perhaps Ryan's own Bloomington, Indiana?
Nice.
Great question. Obviously, these towns, college towns, are going to have that fall influx, for instance, of students moving to the area. So it actually presents a pretty interesting opportunity for those businesses in those college towns. You know, I mean, it depends on the owner, and obviously there's a plethora of options within that college campus. I don't think typical direct mail would actually reach into the campus itself. Obviously, student housing and things like that, they probably are actually on P.O. box systems and localized post office boxes for a student building, for instance. So you're probably trying to do flyer drops and things like that within the campus. But obviously, there's students around the campus that are renting homes, renting apartments that you definitely want to reach out to, on a consistent basis. And during those fall influxes, for instance, I think it's very important, to make sure you're hitting those folks and getting them into your restaurant. Great question.
All right, now you guys had said you think free is best, kind of at the beginning. I mean, besides that, do you recommend discounts? Buy one get one free. Your first prize free. I mean, what is your recommendation? Having done this for anybody trying to get into this.
Yeah, for new movers, free is always the way to go because, again, it's a niche audience. If there's only 200 people, you want to make sure that you're capturing as many of those folks every month that you possibly can. Again, there's a lot of options in the market for the most part, and you want to make sure they come into your pizzeria as opposed to Joe's down the block. So leading with your best foot, giving them a pizza, saying, hey, try our pizza. It's the best in town, and really putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak, will go a long way in getting them, through your door. Now, on those second follow-up, efforts, you can discount items if you choose to. I'm not a huge fan of discounting in general, so I think I'm more of a fan of leading by my product being the best than anything. And I think if you're able to do that with your initial offer and the free pizza, you're going to be well off with new movers anyway.
Exactly, and like I kind of touched on before, our program is promoted as being housewarming gifts to the neighborhood, and so having a free offer in there is a lot more beneficial and sends a different kind of message than just a discount would.
Right. I like what that one pizzeria did that I actually showed you on one of our slides, where they offer that loyalty card with a buy 12 get 13 free. That something like that attached to the new mover program, or maybe a postcard mailing with a die cut like that, a punch out card that will offer some loyalty implications to some respect. Well, that obviously be pretty advantageous to tracking the program and ensuring that you are retaining these customers. And again, the product's going to speak for itself.
Perfect. All right, Daniel, you got a couple more?
Well, let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum. Do you happen to have any advice on retaining your longtime loyal customers, or any kind of incentives you might want to throw them out to make them feel not left out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, through your EDBM marketing, obviously you're hitting all your folks in the neighborhood there, your existing residents. You're obviously looking for those loyalty programs regardless of whether they're a new mover or not. So if you can make it buy 12, get one free card for an existing customer, you got your email addresses, your birthdays, your social media, all that good stuff. That's also going to reach with your average customer, the folks that are already aware of you and are already following you on social media and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I was noticing you guys mentioned actually adding a map to show the cross streets where the pizzeria is at. Besides that, is there anything else you guys would suggest to actually put onto these new mover cards?
We do also offer on the back side of ours, you can put any of your specials for pizza places. They'll sometimes put their restaurant, and in the back side as well as the front side, full color and everything. So yeah, I would say the menu for pizzerias is a huge selling point for them, and people will keep that actually. And in our package, we have a community magnet where you can put a couple more resources. We have a couple more resource sources on there, and there's another space for you to put your pizzeria and stick that up there on their refrigerator so they keep getting reminded of you. So.
Yeah, and the real cool thing about putting the magnet on the back side is, okay, you just gave them a free pizza, but now if there's a menu, did I say menu or magnet? I don't know. That menu on the back side of the certificate is you just gave them a free pizza, and now they're seeing your menu, so they're more than likely actually going to see that menu and go, wow, that linguine and clam sauce looks good too. How about some breadsticks? They're going to end up actually purchasing in addition to that free offer you gave them. So you'll probably make your money back on the whole thing right then and there if you're actually doing that. So I think that's strong.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I was looking at in there. It's a packet, and you mentioned exclusivity, like you'd be the only pizzeria in there. So it's a package. It's not a postcard. It's a package that comes out with different discounts for different places. But if you were the only pizzeria to buy one, you will be the only pizzeria in that area. Correct?
Yep, that's correct, yes.
Right.
So the fact that, I mean, this is just from our standpoint, the community feel of our welcome package, we actually find that our response rates are a little higher than solo mail. I think there's a couple reasons for this. There's a lot of goodies in our package. It gets tucked away until they're ready to use it, you know,
Right.
as opposed to solo mail where maybe they're putting it behind the, you know, they're putting it on the fridge, or it's tucking it in a drawer and they're forgetting about it. It's falling to the wayside, you know, because there's maybe a free cleaning with the dentist, free oil change with their local mechanic. You know, these offers, they're going to hang on to them. You know, they're not going to need it right then and there, but, you know, in addition to the free pizza, they're going to use them. So.
Right. All right, perfect. Daniel, you have any other questions?
I am all out of questions.
All right. Well, I would like to thank Steven Scroy and Brittany Johnson of Our Town America for enlightening us all on direct mail marketing. Thank you guys so much for being here and giving us all this information.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And if we could, we'd like to show the folks just a little bit about our program real quick.
For sure. Let's see it.
All right.
This is Pete. Like most businesses, about 20% of his customers move away every year, so attracting new loyal customers is vital to his continued success. But the usual marketing methods just weren't paying off, so he tried Our Town America, the new mover welcoming program designed specifically to target people who have just moved into the neighborhood, like the Smiths. They knew no one, nor were they familiar with any of the local businesses. They felt almost like outsiders. And then the Our Town America package arrived, loaded with gift certificates and welcome messages. It's the perfect way to introduce folks to your business before they've established loyalties to your competitors. So Mr. Smith took everyone out for pizza and a bit of family time in their new neighborhood. They were warmly welcomed by the staff, who engaged them in conversation about their move and took the time to get to know them. The Smiths took an immediate liking to Pete and his fine establishment. From then on, Saturday nights at Pete's was a regular thing. Our Town America is nothing like the usual direct mail. It shows that Pete's Pizza has heart. It allows for demographic targeting by neighborhood or zip code, as well as the targeting of homes or apartments. And it's 100% trackable. Simply scan each gift certificate using the Our Town TrueTrack mobile app. Additionally, the scanning of the gift certificate will trigger a second mailing to the respondent new movers. It's the start of a loyalty program and is fully customizable on a full-color, two-sided postcard so that you can offer your thanks and even provide them with a second offer to return to your business for a second visit. Trackable with the mobile app as well. Our Town America's new mover program is a customer acquisition tool. It helped Pete to gain a steady stream of new loyal customers every month, and it's budget-friendly so that there are no surprises. And it works for all manner of local businesses and services. With a single mailing of the package, Our Town America can lock out your competitors and dramatically boost your sales. Follow-up mailings, social media plug-in, and other carefully targeted programs are also available. So reach out to those in your community when they need you most and get a steady stream of new loyal customers each month. With Our Town America, powerful marketing that works.
All right, so thank you for letting us show that.
No, we appreciate it. I want to go eat at Pete's Pizzeria right now. Just the power of direct mail marketing, guys. I'd like to thank Steven Scroy and Brittany Johnson again of Our Town America. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us, Brian.
Thank
Yeah, I'd like to thank Daniel Perea for curating all the questions. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Daniel.
He's there still. So thank you guys for joining us on the PMQ webinar series for Our Town America. We'll see you guys next time. Just stay tuned to the website. This will be available on the website. You can download the full webinar in its entirety and all downloadable PowerPoints and contact information. So just check out pmq.com/live and you'll be able to find it there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you guys, Brittany, Steve.